Hey guys, it's Katie here with Life Mundane. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about how our family did a no spend month in the month of January, what that is, why we did it, what it looked like, and what we learned from it. But I'm hoping it will help and inspire you guys to maybe try a no spend month for yourself. So let's get started. Okay, so in a nutshell, what is a no spend month? Basically, the idea is that it's a month that you set aside not to spend money. Now, there's a huge wide gamut of what that can look like if you search online for no spend month rules. So really, there's a huge variation. You can do what's right for you and your family. I recommend getting on the same page with your significant other. I recommend taking the time to really pray about it and honestly figure out why you're doing it in the first place. But you can set your own rules, and I'll explain what our rules are here in just a second. Why did we do it? Well, it was kind of multifaceted, and without getting into a huge long backstory, roughly the idea is that my husband's job, there's a little bit of uncertainty with his job right now. There has just been several layoffs and other things happening. So we wanted to take the time to not spend so that we could save as much money as possible over the next few months, just in case anything were to happen either with layoffs or with having to do shortened work weeks or something like that where our income would go down. The other part of it was to see, okay, let's, instead of waiting till something like that happens to scale way back, let's live off just what we need right now and get used to that so that if we need to do it, it's not this huge shift for our family. The third reason, I guess, that we were trying to do that is that in the past, if I'm being completely honest with you guys, we haven't been the best with budgeting. And I feel really bad saying this. I come from a family that is very good with money and budgeting. They have very line item stuff, and I love it. And I'm so happy that they do that. And I want to be that, but I've never been that good with money. And not good with money. I've never been money minded. We don't get into debt. We were both raised that way, my husband and I. We don't go into debt outside of our mortgage or medical expenses. We don't spend more than we make, but actually having a line item and breaking it all down, I haven't been as good at, and that has run into some problems for us in the past. So roughly what our accounting budgeting looks like right now is basically his paycheck gets divided into several different accounts, and it automatically gets drafted. There's one for the mortgage, there's one for our bills, there's one for our tithe, and then there's our checking account. So all of our necessity pays are automatically dispersed. We don't ever see that money, and we always have money for our bills, which is good. But that checking account is just kind of like the anything else account. That's the eating out, the groceries, the gas, all of that, clothing, anything you can think of, that's what's in there. And so it wasn't really well planned, and sometimes we would purchase something and then not have money we needed for something later and have to dip into our savings for that. So we wanted to cut that out. In 2020, that is one of our goals. We want to get back on track. We've done it in the past. We've had a really good budget before. We want to get back on track with that. And so this was a way of just going, okay, because we've been spending like that, I can't even tell you how much we've been spending on groceries or gas or diapers or things like that, because it just comes out of this big slush fund. So part of the reason why we're doing the no spend month is just simply to kind of get a better idea of what are we spending and what is a realistic amount to shoot for. Okay, so that is what and why, but let's talk about our specific rules that we did for our no spend month. We sat down in advance, and because we knew why we were doing it, we knew we wanted to be tighter on our rules because we were trying to save all of that money. But again, pick what works for you. Okay, so some of the rules we set. Obviously, we still paid all of our bills. And then we paid our groceries, but we did only $100 a week. We are a family of 8. We have 6 very hungry kids that eat like teenagers, even though the oldest is only 10. Not sure how we're going to pay for their food when they get older. Drop all your grocery saving tips for teenagers down in the comments, because I could use them, I have a feeling. But we made it to where we were only spending $100 a week on groceries for all 8 people for 3 meals a day and snacks, because we homeschool, so all the meals are at home. And we were able to do that pretty well. I'm gonna do a separate video on that, on how we did that exactly and some of the things that we did for how you can save money on a grocery budget. So be sure to subscribe, because that'll be coming out here really soon. But we did do that. So we set aside that money. We set aside at the time $50 for diapers and for medicine, because my daughter has some special needs, and so she has some co-pays that we have to pay for her medication every single month. So we set aside that separate. That's $50 a month, and then $100 a week for groceries, and that did include cleaning supplies, toilet paper, paper towels, that kind of thing. So anyways, that's what we did for that. We paid for gas for our cars, and then we paid our tithe. We don't consider that something that's optional. So we paid for all 5 of those things. So what didn't we pay for? Well, I canceled every single one of our monthly services. So things like Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, we canceled, we have a music streaming service that we used. I canceled that. We had a Microsoft Word, because we don't have Word on our computer. We had subscribed to one of their online monthly things, so you could get Word and Excel and all of that. Canceled that. There was an app when I went through and was like looking through all the monthly charges to cancel all of these things. There was an app that I've been paying for 2 years, and I didn't know it, and we haven't been using it. I've been paying for it monthly. So, whoops. Good idea to go in and check your bank account to make sure you know. For the most part, I have things accounted for, guys. I'm really not that flighty with money, but apparently I didn't notice this one. It was a small enough charge that I didn't notice it, but we've been paying a monthly bill on it for 2 years. So we canceled all of those monthly extra services. We didn't eat out. We cut out any kind of extra spending, so having extra spending money just for fun. We didn't buy any clearance items. Oh my goodness, guys, this was so hard. Do you know how many clearance items there are in January? Oh, it is so hard for me to pass up a good deal. I was raised to always look at good deals, and I just had to like blinders on. We also cut out anything more of like the processed or pre-ready food. So no eating out, but also not that, because it wouldn't make it fit where we were under $100 a week. So there were several things like that that we didn't do. Okay, so what did we learn from this experience? We told you what we spent on, and we told you what we didn't spend on, but what was the point? What did we learn from this? What were we hoping to accomplish? Well, first of all, we did save a lot of money, and I was really excited, and that was really motivating to go, okay, the month is over, we're going into February, and we could just go back to spending. We could just bring it all back in, and that would be fine. That would technically be within the rules that we set, because when we started intending only to do this for a month. However, we realized that we saved a lot of money, and that was super, super cool to be able to have that set aside. And we realized, as I'm about to share in a second, that there were some things that were just wasteful to spend on. So really, in reality, it got us motivated to go, okay, what could we really go without, either for a few more months, or what could we just go without, period? So I really liked the fact that not only did we get the saving done that we wanted, and not only did it motivate us to save more, but it really helped us to evaluate what we were spending on in the first place and whether it was even worthwhile or not. So an example of this, remember that service that I said we were using for Microsoft? I realized that I can do pretty much all of that and more on Google Docs, Google Forms, Google Spreadsheets, all of those things, and that's all free. And so I didn't need that anymore. So we canceled that, and we probably won't go back to that. Now, streaming services. As you can tell from my long list of streaming services, we like our streaming services. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't want anyone to hear me say otherwise. But I realized and was very convicted that you can tell where your priorities are, where your heart lies, by where you spend your time and your money and your thoughts. And guess what? In our house, a lot of the money and a lot of the time was on things we watch, and was on TV shows or movies or things like that. And I realized that's not healthy, and that's not the message I want to be sending to my kids. That's not the majority of where our money is going by any means, but there was a decent amount of money and time being spent on that. And I realized, and my husband realized, that this is not what we want to communicate to our kids. So we have decided to continue that ban on all streaming services for a while, for at least a couple more months, maybe longer. Maybe we'll go all of 2020 without them. I don't know. It's a little nerve-wracking, but we'll see. We did realize that, look, guys, we have a whole bunch of DVDs that we bought. And the nice thing about DVDs it's only stuff that we've approved, instead of our kids searching and finding new shows and us not being able to keep up, and me having to go read reviews and hoping they don't accidentally stumble across something that's inappropriate. These are things that we have. We've had them for a long time. You guys can just pop in a DVD. For us, we have certain shows we like to watch, and we're like, you know what? Do we really have to have the instant gratification of being able to watch the show the day after it airs? What if we just watch it on the network's website a week or two after it airs? Is it really gonna kill us? No, it's not. And so it was just really good to see that it's okay for us to have a little bit of a break from that, and we can spend that money more wisely on other things, fun things to do with the kids, or again, saving for the family. So that was something that we learned from it. We also learned a lot about our food budget, and I'm gonna save that information for that food video because there was so much that we learned about our food and how we handled that, and I'm really excited to share more with you guys on that. But I also just realized that our expenses, where we run into trouble, where oftentimes we end up at that end of the month scramble for cash, are those little line items. Honestly, I don't shop at Target. I am not a big clothes person or makeup or whatever. So I don't go in somewhere and drop $200 on shoes, ever. But what I do a lot of is oh, it's only $4.99. Oh, it's only $6.99. I'll just pick up that. And all of those little expenses add up a lot, especially when they're monthly. And as you see, there was a lot of monthly subscriptions that we had that we wasted money on because they were repetitive small charges, but over the years, those add up. So what I found with Amazon that was really interesting is that I saved a lot more than just the amount for the Amazon service. I saved a lot more money because I can still get free shipping for $35 worth of stuff. Now in the past, this didn't actually save me money because if I wanted something, I'd stick it in my cart and then I go find other things to get me up to $35. But with this no spend thing, if it was something we truly needed, I would put it in the cart, I would wait, and I would see if there was enough other things. Once $35 worth of stuff got added, I would order it. But do you know what happened that entire month? I never came across that many things that I needed. And I was able to find them other places or just simply to live without it. And that was really eye-opening to me, was that I had gotten so used to that 2-day, 1-day turnaround that I would just see something. Oh, this is a great storage system for my spice cabinet. I've been trying to reorganize it. I'm just gonna go on Amazon. You know, it'll be here tomorrow. I found plastic containers that actually look semi-nice. I decorated them up with my chalk labels that I love so much, and they work perfectly fine. I have no need to replace them in the future. My idea at first was I'm just gonna find something, use it, and then when we're off the no spend month, I'll go buy a new thing. But I like it and it's working just fine. And I use stuff and I would have spent money otherwise on it. So anyways, all that to say, I think that for our family, it was a lot about those little things that we're adding up. And so we're excited to go on into February. My husband and I have been talking about it, and we liked the no spend month so much that we really want to go on a low spend 2020, or at least for the next 6 months or so. So with that, we haven't established all the rules. We're still working that out. And maybe I'll do a video on that. If you guys want to see that, drop it down in the comments. But we're going to do a low spend month. And so we are going to try and stick to a lower grocery budget than maybe what we would typically do. We are going to probably go without a lot of those streaming services for most of the year. We are going to do a lot more thinking about how we can save money with different things. Instead of just saying, oh, we have some money, we can spend it, we'll have set aside money for that. So I would love to know if any of you guys have ever done a no spend month or a low spend year. Would love to hear more about it. And I hope you guys will check out our future videos. Talk to you later. Bye.